In this special podcast, I get a chance to sit down with Barry Prescott, Brett Ekart, and Jay Milligan as we go over our second year at the SEMA Show. Take a listen.
Second year, SEMA, for Converter Reclaim booth. It's the first year I got to go. That's freaking insane.
Yeah, that
I had
amount of work that goes into that show, 3 million square feet.
Yeah,
was that what it was? Was 3 million?
It's 3.3 million square feet of convention center, and that doesn't include the parking lots outside that are just packed to the gills with trucks and trailers and everything else that's going on.
I don't think anyone realizes how crazy it is until you go, because I've told everyone, and until you go, you can really appreciate the madness, because it takes a good full 2 to 3 days to walk the whole thing.
Yeah, and I knew it was big, right? But I got there and was seriously like, holy cow.
Yeah, it's good size.
You know, and only made it one day, right? Mm-hmm. So I already had the plan that I wasn't going to really talk to anybody, and I wasn't going to freaking watch a lot of different demo stuff. I was just going to try to move, right? I didn't even take that many pictures.
Did you get to see it all? I didn't even ask you.
No, because I still am seeing pictures that other people took. I'm like, where the hell was that?
Yeah.
You know, and I walked and walked and walked and walked until I hurt, and then I walked some more, and then I walked some more, and then I sat down, had lunch, and then I walked some more, and finally about 3 o'clock, my body was like, guy, sit down.
Mm-hmm. It probably didn't help our cause that we went out the night before and partied pretty hard. I mean, but that's how it goes.
I turned in at 11, so I wanted to be the first one at the booth the next day. So.
I met you on the train going over there. I'm like, God damn it, I wanted to win.
Try to beat us there.
Yeah.
The fact that they have tunnels under the convention center where you could take a Tesla to the other side, that just like shows you how big and crazy that is.
Right. Yeah. I didn't see that.
I've never seen them. I've only heard people talk about them.
Right.
I've always wanted to ride in them, but this year especially, we were just too busy. None of us in the booth had a chance to even like go check that out.
2 years, and I haven't even made it to the other 2 convention centers on the opposite end. So the South Hall.
One of these days, we're gonna be like rich and famous. We're gonna like have other people work the booth, and then we'll be able to actually go walk the whole show.
It won't be the same though. I like talking to everybody.
I know, so do I. I agree. That's why we do what we do.
We'll be like kicking them out. Go walk around. We'll hold it down. We'll hold it down.
And I didn't see another converter company there. Was there
more.
somebody else there?
One more, but big dog. United Catalyst.
Yep. UCC. Becky, what's her last name? Really good. That's a good company. They've been around for a long time. They're good at what they do.
They're on the East Coast.
East Coast? Like Northeast or?
I'm not sure where exactly United Catalyst is from, but
they handle the big 1,000+ units at a time.
Woman-owned company. Mm-hmm. Yep. She's a hustler. Like I said, I've always liked her. I've always had a lot of respect for her.
It's nice because she'll kick down the little shops that wouldn't make sense for her to sell, and we'll do vice versa. When there's like a guy, I get 2,000 a month. We're like, well, you're talking to the wrong people. Go talk to them.
Right.
And that just shows you right there. There's enough business out there where we can all commingle and all coexist.
Oh yeah.
Because especially when you're dealing with legit companies. Try and do it the right way. If it's nice for us to find another legit company for the big dogs, these big, huge auto salvages to go to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you're always going to have competition. You might as well get along with them, work together, and you can do a lot better things than just fighting all the time.
Yeah, there's a reason why McDonald's sets up shop next to Burger King and Jack in the Box and 8 other food spots. Right? I mean, there's enough for everybody to eat.
Right.
And
I think
if you approach it that way and you don't feel like you're taking business from me or I'm taking business from you, and you just basically make each other better at what you do, and you have some people like tacos and some people like burgers. That's just the way it is. But everybody needs to eat. There's enough food for everybody, and that's the way we've always approached it. So,
and that's why some companies even have multiple companies that do about the same thing. They're just called different things,
right?
Which is like even crazier almost.
Yeah. Does she take it further than we do, or is she just same?
They
do full on assays.
Yeah.
They don't. I don't know if they smell. I don't think they do. I think they send it off. But what they do is they bring like large lots in, and perform assays on everything. So I think that's kind of their sweet spot is bringing 1,000, 10,000 units at a time, or bringing 10,000 pounds of honeycomb at a time.
And they're
grinding
decanning,
it.
or are they not
I think they do both. I think they'll either decan and assay, or just grind and assay. So I think they do a little bit of everything on that end. But they're not, to put a smelter in is a super unique piece of that puzzle. I mean, there's only, I think, 4 of them in our country. There's a few obviously outside of our country, but yeah, that's a whole another beast in and of itself. Yeah, doing the actual smelting.
So the show itself, Jay, what's your opinion this year versus last year?
Just double the people. I mean, we went to the show with more people and in hopes that we'd get a walk around and take a lunch and a bathroom break, and it wasn't like that. It was just nonstop all day long. That's why I wanted to time lapse it. So
because we were still kind of in COVID mode last year.
yeah,
masks
and
no international
good for us
travel.
to teach off of, but this year was the big show. So.
And even then, I think on the attendee level wasn't back all the way up to pre-COVID levels. I think on the vendor side, it was.
Yeah,
but
better.
On the attendee side, it wasn't still back all the way to pre-COVID levels.
So maybe next year, if everybody goes hard, it'll be.
Which is
even
mind-boggling
more.
because there was still a lot of people. And I think on our end, looking back, our transition into anti-theft products as well as buying converters was a big part of the show for us. And I'll let Nick speak on it a little bit more, but that transition for us and what we plan to do and really move on the anti-theft side and the true business-to-business side is like one of our differentiators. It is the difference between tacos and hamburgers.
Mm-hmm. Right? So this year we brought a cat strap. We recently partnered with them, and that brought most of the people to the booth, not the recycling. Last year, the recycling brought people to the booth, and all the cracks about theft and all that too, which we're working on fixing that too. But this is the next step for us as a company, is that sell these anti-theft devices, and then we're working on a software component. And we probably got 800, 700 people that want to supply those straps at their shops and put them on their customers' vehicles. And
are
so
those muffler shops or just repair shops?
All of the above on that.
Anybody that's kind of impacted by catalytic converter theft is.
Which was the hot topic,
yeah.
right? I mean, last year theft was important, but this year, because it just went bananas in the years between last year and this year, the amount of theft and everything that was going on, and the amount of awareness and attention to the theft. So that was like the hottest topic on the converter side was A, what can I do for my customers to help prevent theft? And B, what do I do with the converters, because all these laws and regulations are coming down, and I don't know that I feel comfortable selling them because I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble because I actually have them on hand.
Yeah,
the laws
people
are.
we talked to that were like, I legitimately get these, and I got 5 or 10 of them sitting in the corner because I don't feel comfortable doing anything with them now because all I hear about it in the news and the media, and that's that's how they portray it. They just want to scare everybody. So
1,000%, and that's what we're going to clean up.
Yeah, I'm excited for that software to make it possible for certain people that get them, that are legit, to be able to process them and get them recycled. Because unfortunately, it's hurting the legit guy that has the 5 that he just can't move. It's gonna make them all go to the landfill eventually, which that's gonna be sad because those precious metals were hard to get out of the earth.
Yeah.
They'll never get reclaimed again. They're gonna get lost.
Well, there's a reason why they're valued so high, right?
Yes, and then those metals need to get back into the system because they're used in so many things more than just catalytic converters. They're used in medication for cancer patients. They're used in a lot of electronics, and the list goes on and on. So that's important. And that's where like myself and our company is really passionate about making sure those precious metals gets reclaimed into the right place.
So let's talk SEMA. What was the coolest thing you've seen, Barry? Like what kind of stands out for you?
Oh, there was a lot. What were we, the South Hall?
South
South Hall,
Yeah.
downstairs, kind of by the entrance.
Yeah.
There was a square body 4-door dually on the dirt, blue and white. I made a TikTok of it.
Yeah.
That was pretty sweet. He'd even made a custom badge that said bankrupt 35.
Yeah. Nothing like an old square body.
Yeah, there was.
Those are kind of like making those are like making a real comeback. I feel like the last few years, like maybe 5 years, people are really like falling back in love with that truck.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's always been a certain amount of people that have liked and appreciated it, but it feels like that's kind of the new,
The new buzz.
Yeah.
Everybody wants something that's kind of got that vintage feel, but good looks also. So.
Yep. Yeah, and it was, and it was just kind of like definitely not a high-end builder area where that truck was at. There was a red 5-window coupe in the mother's booth. Did you guys see that? That thing was great.
You saw way more than we saw.
Yeah, that's true.
we didn't even.
But that's why I'm
I-
like, just
I
tell
did-
us all the cool
I did-
shit. So
I
we
didn't
know.
get lucky, but in fact, I got it sent to me last night. There was an all aluminum, like fully custom truck built mid-engine. It was all polished aluminum, the whole truck. I just got it. I didn't see it. I got a video of it sent to me last night. I'm like, holy cow.
What was the car? Was it a car that had all the engraved? I mean, everything was fucking engraved on that thing. Did you see the picture? I think me and my dad took it, but it was like, I mean,
They do it with like a Dremel, like they're tattooing a body.
yeah, but they tattooed. I mean, everything underneath the hood, the block, the radiator,
With the artwork or
tank.
what? Like,
Yeah, but no, basically just kind of like you would say, engrave a gun or something with like the swirls and the
Got it.
artistry, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't see that. But
I saw a picture of it.
the thing that I really didn't think about going down there was all the vendors.
Yeah.
I walked around quite a few pretty cool. I'm going to look at that up someday on the
Just don't even know
on
it's
the web
available to make your job easier.
At it further. Yeah, I felt sorry. They weren't far from the booth, but there was probably 10 or 12 tape vendors there, all trying to explain why their tape was better than that guy's tape, better than that guy's tape. Like those guys are having a hard week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that just goes to show you, like for the young people out there that don't want to fucking go to college or whatever the case may be, like I almost think it should be a requirement for like especially area high schools that could get there. And if SEMA could, I mean, I know there's some sort of student partnerships because we talked to a lot of students in like automotive, but those kids are already destined. They already know they're going to go to automotive. I want the kids that don't know they're going to go into automotive to go to a show like that and say, I know this is the automotive industry, but I mean, look how many salespeople are here. Look how many car people are here. Look how many truck people are here. Look at like how far this expands. I mean, people from all over the world are there, from all different countries, slinging tires, slinging tape, slinging you name it. Like,
well, really, you can
there's
make
so much to it that has nothing to do with fucking going to college.
You can make a good living without going to college. You can make a good living with going to college.
Yeah.
You can make a shitty living with going to college. You can make a shitty living without going.
Yeah.
It all like boils down to how much like work you're gonna put in. You know?
But I mean, we're all living that world of trucks, automotive, scrap, and we didn't even realize how big SEMA was until we actually went. So how many people could go to an event like that and be like, man, the possibilities are endless.
And it's
It's
not
in-
even
it's
the
inspirational.
biggest one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the 10th largest industry in the world. Like, there's 9 other industries in front of that are bigger than the automotive industry. So it's just wild to think about also.
And the students, like, even though they're going to college for like automotive, but that's still a different path than, that was still kind of like frowned upon by certain people. But I think that thing's shifting where it's more respected to get into a trade. And it was cool that these teachers were bringing their students to a show like that where they could really maybe, especially if they were maybe on the verge of maybe going a different route, that maybe could pull them back in. And even on the recycling side of those universities, the universities themselves are having trouble recycling their converters, which is interesting to hear. Because
how many contacts did we make with university? Like, we get a project
I
car
did
in.
four
Have
different people.
Converter off this car. We don't even know what to do with it.
Yeah, one guy was like, I took it to the recycle yard and they wouldn't let me recycle it. This is a professor, you know?
pretty smart individual, right? Like it makes you wonder, all those big busts, like are all those precious metals never going to get recycled now? They're just going to sit somewhere and never do anything?
No, they'll go to like some police auction, or they'll make it back in, but it's going to be
A long time, yeah.
They'll make it back into the stream, but I just feel like it's going to be via, one of the federal, departments somehow, whether it's, FBI or local police or sheriff's association. I mean, I would assume those funds will then get distributed back.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if they could put, maybe they are, if they put those funds into like a pool where if your cat gets stolen, that you could like apply to get money from that, like that bust,
Yeah.
Something like that would be really cool. Okay, well,
Like
you
class
put it,
action kind of
you
thing
put
or
it, this
something,
this lot, you call the cops, it got stolen, and then there's like a system. Like I think that would be cool if they put that together.
100%.
But who knows? I doubt that happens.
So back to SEMA, we love Peterbilts, right? We all got Peterbilts. Only one Kenworth and one Sterling. But did you guys see that welder up semi out front that had the 57 Chevy? And
55.
55?
Yeah, 55.
That's like one of your best TikToks.
Yeah,
Like,
it's almost at $1 million, right?
Oh,
Yeah, so-
didn't
That
quite
was
break
awesome.
it yet.
yeah. I think I made about $13 off of that thing so far.
I saw that. So I saw a TikTok. That guy had a TikTok where he made his own TikTok. The guy that built the truck.
That Steve guy from
Yeah, and he was talking about how much time and money he's got tied up in that.
Does he have a show? The guy that made that?
Yeah, the show's actually called Welder Up. It's
Oh,
not
okay.
it's not on anymore, but it was it was like they
Because that was one of the
take
coolest
a
things I saw.
shitty old car
That
and then
thing.
they build something cool out of it. But your dad took a picture with him too and got to sit inside of that truck too. So
Yeah.
it's kind of
Yeah.
cool for him.
Which is good because my dad is like a purebred truck guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only one thing at SEMA that stood out a little for it, than all that is the one Peterbilt. That I didn't know did you see any other trucks when you were walking around there?
There was one other
Pimped out.
truck out front that was pretty nice. There was a bubble nose. They built it as a rollback.
Oh yeah, that old
there was-
it's a GM, right?
Yeah, it was painted like that welder up truck.
Yeah.
So
All patina like.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like that truck wasn't perfect, right? The truck wasn't perfect, the car wasn't perfect, but it was just his art, right?
Yeah.
That just drew people to it. It had
The torches were functional.
yeah,
and
I
oxygen tanks.
I think I saw your TikTok. I've seen a ton of TikToks with it popping up,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and I think it was really popular. For
Maybe
sure.
we could let us put a couple trucks in it next year. Put a truck in it
Yeah.
Right?
with
Oh, there
something
we
on the
go.
back.
Mm-hmm.
Find a cool car.
Yeah.
Bo's car. I like that car Bo has. I don't know.
It needs some love.
I
Give it
know.
to SEMA.
Can we get a truck in the booth?
They got a bunch of other big shit in the booth. I mean, as long as
I didn't see any semi trucks upstairs though.
Yeah.
I saw some cars, saw some
Saw a
motorcycles.
lot of lifts.
Maybe if they move
Yeah,
us
trucks and
downstairs
stuff.
where we belong in the muffler area, then we could get a truck in there.
If the cat strap, where we could probably petition to go down there, and that we're selling something. So
What was
On
it?
the software side too, because I went to the, I want to say the North. What is it? The North Hall that had a lot of the 4-wheel drive stuff and the outdoor.
Yeah,
That was the
I
North
think
building.
I think it's more like because we're all about repair and fixing shit on our floor.
Yeah.
And downstairs, but below us is tires and 4-wheel drive stuff. But over there is like all the real car builds are in there.
Yeah.
Everybody that sells engine stuff.
We'll see. We'll see if we how much motivation we have to go again.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of money, but definitely worth it to hang out with all the people that we want to be doing business with and helping.
Well, that's our true
services.
target. That's our true target market. That's why we like SEMA so much. Is we're not, we've made a name for ourselves going after the individual recycler, but we've also built a decent following of doing business to business transactions. And I think as we shift our focus to getting people educated to be able to sell to us that are businesses and why we present, a strong case for you to do business with us so we can do business to business transactions, I think that following will only grow and probably even be more motivating to go to SEMA because that's who you're really trying to deal with. The guys that have the muffler shop, the mechanic shop, those are the guys that, need a good outlet for their converters, and they need someone that they can trust and depend on and not, have some guy driving through and 3 times a week interrupting the flow of their shop. I mean, that's the real market that we chase,
Well, I think 80% of the people that go into the booth either work at a shop or own a shop. It felt like at our booth, at least.
Yeah.
They've all experienced it.
The world needs core buyers. Like, one thing I don't want to discount or shit on is the world needs guys out there that are willing and able to buy from the individual. Like, we have 7 scrap yards, right? We buy from individuals through our scrap yards. We vet them. We go through the process. We do it. So that part of it, how many scrap yards and companies out there that need those individual core buyers? Those guys need to exist. They just need a proper way of being able to vet their customer and a proper way of being able to track and basically keep the proper records of their transactions so they can feel comfortable buying and selling.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's
sharing
where
the report.
That's what I'm saying. That's where the industry goes is.
Well, and also if they were running legit businesses, they could pay taxes and commercial tax and road tax and
The same taxes we're all paying just to keep the fucking lights on,
Yeah.
So like I said, the core buyer needs to exist. Those guys out there, people that have a physical location and a good place to go, they're keeping proper records, like that needs to be able to happen.
Yeah.
But businesses need a good home, a good consistent home for their material as well.
Agreed.
Yeah. I think it's a good chat. Yeah.
Anything else?
Well, I want Barry to give us a little spiel about his new podcast. Tell everyone what it's going to be about.
So really, it's Chicken Light Chronicles, and it's really just going to be about trucks, what we do, why we do it, different vendors in the community, different shops, different mechanics, and the drivers, I plan to, we're going to do some one-on-one type conversations. We're going to do some just sit around and shoot the shit conversations and try to just really highlight what trucking is.
Highlight the people that are out there that, highlights kind of like a way of saying that you're taking the people that have a strong passion, just like people have a passion for the car industry. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people that have a passion for the trucking industry, right?
Correct.
And being able to let those guys talk about what they got going on is important.
Yeah.
I think you could have a podcast on taking a shit if you just do it, right? Everybody does it. We could discuss it, but I think it's important to we have a podcast about scrap in Idaho. This podcast, wherever this one goes, is a podcast about converter reclaim and discussing converters, right? Then you have a podcast about trucking and what it's about and the people that are doing it, right? And that's the beauty of podcasting, is just getting people on to tell their story and what they got going on, discuss their industry, their passion, their interest. I encourage people to have a podcast about anything. I'm going to start the next podcast, taking a shit.
I think you should.
You
make
fold or crumble?
hot and sweaty.
Are you 2 squares or are you 4?
Brett, we want your podcast about chips and salsa.
I know.
We want the chips and
I'm
salsa
building the
podcast.
blog. I have a notes section on my phone.
Oh, I know. I've seen it. I've seen it in action.
I'm like a chips and salsa.
That's the
addict.
Before you do the shit podcast, can you do the chips and salsa podcast first? Okay. All right. Well, I think we're good.
All right. Thanks, Bob. I appreciate the invite, and it was great to be able to come down and.
So what's the next show, real quick? And I know one of the reasons you said you wanted to go to the show was you were thinking about doing a show in Vegas or a truck show.
Louisville.
Right?
Yeah, Louisville, Kentucky.
Mid-America Truck Show.
Is Mid-America Truck Show, Matt's, and it's supposed to be like SEMA for trucks.
Yeah. Are you wanting to go? Are you wanting to?
So
what's the goal?
I do want to go, and I every year I get right down to it, and then I back out because it's just so long to be able to go back to Kentucky and do that. And last year I had registered our yellow truck to go out, right, to have it sitting in the area, and I just keep backing out of it. But
When
really,
is it?
It's so this coming
in
year.
March,
It's the end of March. It's like the 28th, 29th, 30th, and 1st of April. I know the 1st of April is the last day, but yeah, it's another just crazy event.
And it's 3 days, not
3 days. Yeah, it's 3 days.
Yeah, maybe
So-
we'll put a truck and have a converter booth there. Maybe.
Yeah,
Something.
like we've got a new truck coming. We've got a new trailer. So I've been talking with Western Trailer and with Jackson Creek Peterbilt about possibly trying to do something together to bring some equipment out there and maybe converter reclaim. Can you buy like a semi's worth of converters while we're out there?
I mean, if
It'd
they
make
got 'em,
it justify a lot of why we're out there.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of trucks that if they're 2007 or newer, they have a CAT or a DPF, and we do deal with a lot of shops that need to replace those things if they can't be cleaned or baked or however they do that.
Right.
So they need to find their way back into the recycling stream also. So
Gotcha. But
We got options.
yeah.
that's it.
All right.
Okay,
All right,
guys.
guys.
Thanks
Thank
for coming
you.
out.
Absolutely.